Hello everyone and welcome back to the Great Book of Grudges. My name is Nathan and we've got some interesting news today. You see, staff from Creative Assembly have been doing interviews with various different media outlets to obviously promote Warhammer 3, and it looks like they did one with a Russian website, which will be linked in the description below. Keep in mind that you'll have to use a translator, with some rather interesting information, something revolving around the mega map for Warhammer 3 and possible other race packs. So I wanted to discuss this in this video. Before anything, a big thank you to Alex Shaw for making me aware of this, as I've been super busy with embargoes. I haven't really been checking up with other press sites. So thank you for that, my dude. Now, without further ado, let's begin because there is a lot to discuss. So we're going to skip a large majority of the interview as that stuff has mostly been revealed already, but we can start talking about other things, like for example this question: should we expect a Mortal Empires campaign that brings all three games together? We already knew that was coming, but the answer is quite interesting. Where the developer answers, definitely, although not immediately on release. We won't reveal dates or other details just yet, but from the very beginning when we worked on the first Total War Warhammer, we wanted to present this franchise in a worthy manner. We had plans for 3 games, which then had to come together in one giant map that united the entire universe, and now we will undoubtedly do so. So you can look forward to a campaign with all the factions from all 3 installments, plus a few more that we have created in collaboration with Games Workshop specifically for the upcoming Mortal Empires. See, that is something really important there. A few more specifically for the upcoming Mortal Empires. That means possible new race packs. Obviously, this makes me think of Int, Koresh, and so on, as, well, they border Grand Cafe. We wouldn't really see them here unless a rather large expansion to the base game map was presented. Keep in mind that Cafe is really big in terms of lore, and we're only seeing a small fraction of it because it's supposed to be representative of the largest human nation in the known Warhammer Fantasy world, and yet it's pretty small when in comparison. I've had time to play through it, and you've seen people playing through it. It's very tiny at the moment, so I'm imagining that it's going to get a huge map expansion in Mortal Empires. This has a few things that we can discuss, and we're going to leave it a little bit to the end of the video, as I want to talk about a few other things first. The next section is rather lengthy answers. First up, asking about the Chaos Dwarfs. I understand that you won't tell me, but still I must ask, is there any chance to see the Chaos Dwarfs? Where the answers were, well, their lands are on the map is huge, and there are still some blank spots that can be filled in by various groups from the original franchise that have not been yet properly revealed. From the very beginning, we said that we want to do everything. Okay, so Chaos Dwarfs we knew were coming, their lands are already there. Many people have already been showcasing those territories as they're named after important lore places in the actual area and so on. Plus, there's also already been some in-game hints that we'll talk about later on in this video, which reference Hashut and so on. So yeah, this is pretty promising. I'm imagining that they'll be the first race pack, as there's a really big spot there. Zarnagarund is really large. So, I mean, it would be great. I imagine that will be a few months down the line, because they have to do release, then a patch, the blood, and all that. But yeah, I can wait. Which their conversation then continues here, and it seems to me that we have fulfilled and even exceeded that promise with factions like the Vampire Coast or Cafe. And then again, but still we have room to grow. Even Cafe has additional content that we would like to include in the game through DLC, and we hope that Warhammer fans will see, if not all, then much of what they hope to see. You can definitely count on the fact that some factions that are well established in the setting and have not received their own full-fledged army will get into the game. Okay, so there's a few things here, right? So they're saying more stuff around the lines of Vampire Coast or Cafe. This means supplements and even factions that haven't been made into army books and so on. This is pretty interesting because obviously, again, in Koresh, Dogs of War, they had an army book, but obviously that needs to be updated. We've seen stuff with Games Workshop showcasing new icons for Talia and Estalia, so this is very promising. It obviously makes sense from a perspective of, say, for example, a tabletop player who knows these armies like myself. I'm looking at factions like the Empire, the Wood Elves, and so on, and there's not a lot of possible DLC left. So the best way to supplement this is eventually just adding in more and more race packs or character packs and stuff like that. Race packs would do well because they're the most expensive type of DLC. They can go full ham on that, and if new army books are being created for, say, Warhammer the Old World, that then adds more possibility for DLC in the future. Now, they have said that they want to do stuff for the Mortal Empires specifically, which is pretty cool. I mean, here you can see a loading screen which has popped up on the forums recently and so on. It's found its way into my Discord too, and this mentions Araby, which kind of shows that Araby is getting rewritten in lore a little bit, and this is pretty interesting because obviously not only did they ban Araby or tried to ban Araby once in the Total War Discord, but loads of people have been asking for it, myself included, and it would be possible if it gets a rewrite. I wouldn't mind. I would honestly not mind. It would be one of those faction packs that I've been waiting for a long time. Below that is obviously a loading screen pointing towards the Chaos Dwarves, and again, that makes sense, especially since we know they were coming anyway. They didn't have to confirm it. Most Warhammer Fantasy fans, well, even people just going onto the wikis and so on, just doing some research, they can tell what's coming next with, like, the Chaos Dwarves as the first race pack and all that, mainly because, well, it just makes sense. CA aren't really good with secrets. They've never really been. That's why everyone, for some reason, knew what was next with the whole Warden and the Paunch, and obviously the Skaven DLC with the Twist in the Twilight. So yeah, I mean, this is great. This is going to make the game last a lot longer. Now, I do have a specific fear, which is the main reason for this video, and yeah, let's talk about this. So if we go back and they say something around the lines of they've created stuff in collaboration with Games Workshop specifically for the upcoming Mortal Empires, that means that it would be DLC just for Mortal Empires. Now, this kind of worries me, and obviously this could just be something lost in translation. Obviously, Google doesn't translate too well, but let's use the hypothetical of a Dogs of War DLC, or maybe Araby, or even Ind, anything that wouldn't really fit in the Warhammer 3 main game campaign without a massive expansion, so it would have to be in a Mortal Empires-esque map. Now, what kind of worries me here is the fact that obviously you needed Game 1 and Game 2 for the original Mortal Empires, and I believe they did confirm that you need all three for this new one. That's 3 base games, right? Warhammer 1 and Warhammer 2 have both been out for a decent amount of time now, and they're still both at their base game price, that is £60. Well, $59.99, but you know what I mean. And, well, that would be, what, £120 extra? Then you need the third game too if you're only interested in third game stuff. That is literally £180. That's obviously not including everything with DLC or the different race packs, lord packs, and so on. It's becoming a very expensive series. Now, that might not be an issue to the majority of my viewers, as obviously you're part of this for a long time now. You've probably been playing since Game 1 released. But since the game is going to Game Pass and so on, they're trying to reach a broader audience, which obviously makes sense. Some people have also been waiting to see their favorite races being implemented and so on. This is quite a lot to come into. The fact is that Game 1 and Game 2 should either A, have dramatic discounts as they're very old games. Well, Warhammer 2 is still very relevant at the moment, but you know what I mean. Warhammer 1, barely anyone plays at the moment. They just buy it to go into Warhammer 2 to have the Mortal Empires. So yeah, you know, dramatically reduce them, and I understand why they probably don't want to do that, because the DLC is still relevant in the future games and so on. But what they could do, which I think could work out quite well if they don't want to reduce the numbers, is if, say for example, specific races or specific DLC which is only available in Mortal Empires, so say Dogs of War, you know, they're only available in the lands that are in Warhammer 1 and Warhammer 2, then if you buy that DLC, you get a permanent discount on Game 1 and Game 2. And even then, I don't like that idea. They need to start reducing it, because specific things mean you need all 3 games. For new players, that's a bit of an issue. For older players like myself, not so much. But, you know, it's about keeping the game accessible to everyone. Having a base game entry fee of £180 just for that, or waiting until a sale, which, you know, could be 3 months down the line or something, it's kind of annoying. I know this is mostly coming from Sega itself, because their pricing when it comes to games is really strange. Like, I don't think they kind of reduce prices for a while, if they ever do, but the importance of this series is making sure that it's still accessible to everyone. And if you're going to put a race behind a free game paywall, that's kind of disgusting. Look, obviously I'm just sounding the alarms here. Maybe it's just something that was lost in translation. Maybe Creative Assembly have something planned instead. I just get a little bit worried because CA do make a little mistake every now and then. Like, you know, for example, Day 1 DLC at the very beginning, which obviously the fan base did kind of fix up. But we're going to have to wait and see. I know this is still pretty early to talk about the Mega Map, but then again, this is news that I didn't think was going to come out yet. But I guess some press wanted to really press on, and, well, Creative Assembly decided to answer, which is great, because that gives us something to talk about. Anyways, until then, I'll be in the comments, we'll be able to discuss a little bit. I'm rather curious to see what you guys think about all this. So yeah, let's discuss. But with that, my friends, we've come to the end of our video. Thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy the video, might I suggest giving the video a like, or even subscribing to the channel, as it really does help us out. In the description section below are various links to different social media platforms such as Facebook, Instagram, and Discord. Also in the description section is an affiliate link with Element Games where you could buy loads of hobby-based products, not just Warhammer, for 10 to 25% off. Making a purchase using that link and also our special code, which is also in the description, supports the channel at no extra cost to you, which we think is rather cool. A big thank you to our patrons. Your support means the world to us. It's amazing that people want to help a small channel like us grow and get to a higher level of content. A big thank you to Gibraltar LUSC, Ryan Bertsche, Andrew Prince, and Okro for subscribing to us at our Fame level. You guys are super cool. And a big thank you to Edward Yule, VS Vasan, Aaron Whitman, and Shaggy for subscribing to us at our King level. Honestly, we can't thank you all enough. And lastly, a big thank you to all of you for liking, sharing, and commenting on these videos. Honestly, it's because of you guys that the channel has been growing at such a great pace lately, so we can't thank you all enough. But with that, my friends, thank you so much for watching once again, and we shall see you all again very, very soon. Have a good day.